Okay, in this video, I'm going to title it, If You Feel Victimized, Then Everyone in Your Life is a Spiritualist or Spiritist. And you can test it. Pick anyone in your life right now. Go into a closed environment. Find a room, close all the doors and draw the curtains in that room so that no one else can peer in there. And then just think about one of your friends or family members in a negative way as a test. Not when you just found yourself, no, as a test. Think about any of them in a negative way. If after thinking about any friend or family member that you know in a negative way, the next thing that happens is that you are overwhelmed by a negative feeling, as if that person you thought about knows what you're thinking and is upset, as if you shouldn't have done it, then that's proof. Because if you're in a controlled environment, the curtains are drawn, the door's locked, it's got ceiling and 4 walls and floor, that's a box. How could it be possible for that member of your family or friends to know that you were thinking about them in a negative way? They can't say they saw it through your body language. You're in a box. Yeah, the only way they could have seen that to be upset is if they're seeing into your mind. And if they're seeing into your mind, they're spiritualists. If you don't have the ability to see into other people's minds, and they have the ability to see into yours, they're spiritualist. The electronic targeting is a red cape. It distracts us from the fact that in this world, everyone is a remote viewer who can see into people's minds. The electronic targeting doesn't even work that well, yeah, but it distracts us from knowing that these people are seeing into our minds, yeah, uninvitedly. So when you say to yourself, where did the feeling that became the negative energy, that became the thought that my friend will be upset if I think this, come from? It comes from your friend when he's seeing into your mind. Yeah. So in my experience, yeah, I grew up in a world where no one could see into each other's mind. And that's something that you had to prove you can do. But now they take it for granted that they can do, and they're even reporting things that you thought in your head. Children are doing it, women are doing it, men are doing it. Everyone's doing it. Children can complain about you, thinking about their parents. Like they're seeing what you're thinking and they're complaining about it. Yeah? Everyone is a spiritualist. Okay? And you can test it. Yeah? Children don't have electronic equipment that they can see into your mind with. Yeah? So how are they reacting to what you thought in your head? If you want to test to see who's monitoring your head, think about them in a negative way. If they react, or if you are bombarded by a feeling that makes you think that you're being watched, then that friend there sees there. You're gonna find, if you feel victimized, that 99 to 100% of your friends are seeing there. Some of them will try hard not to react. If you think something really, really negative that anybody will have to react to, you can see them like they want to react, but they can't. they can't give away their situation, they can't give away their position that they can see into your mind. You can see that as well, and that's also evidence. Yeah. So I've got a few mantras which I use to test. I've found that normally people who consider women to be property, and I've also got lesbian rivals, yeah, and also people who are trying to give us the common code. These are the only three people I've noticed that can see into our minds and then presume that everyone will be backing them and they can get the community to turn on you and the police, essentially. So if I say you're not going to give me a common code, there'll be someone who's sitting in my mind that will try and get me to have a code. Yeah? If I say I'm going to touch a woman in a controlled environment, curtains drawn, door locked, and I'm only thinking it in my head, I'm not even saying it out loud, the community will react. If I say your lesbian's not going to do anything about it, the lesbian that was watching my mind will react. I'm not saying that all lesbians are like that, but I have one who's competing with me by watching my mind to make sure I can't get any. Yeah? So that will happen to us heterosexuals. It's happening to me. Yeah? There's some people who don't compete properly. There's even men who do that when you compete with them. When I say I'm going to touch a woman, like I said, if I say I'm going to touch the woman, the whole community reacts. If I say the lesbian's not going to do anything, the whole community reacts, and by running a street theater event, yeah. So these people are reacting to thoughts in my head. Yeah, they're spiritualist. Spiritualism is growing in the West. Yeah, any form of spirit. Remember, religion is a form of spiritualism. Yeah, but spiritualism without religion, or spiritualism without the Almighty, is growing faster in the West. In the rest of the world, it's already there. Majority of the world believes in spiritualism, not necessarily with a deity. They just believe in what works. The ability to see into people's minds works. Even the government is practicing that as dark arts. Yeah? That's spiritualism. Yeah? Now, when I start to defend myself, and the way I defend myself, I say, okay, that works, but I'm a scientist. My weapons are also going to be things that work. When I defend my mind against those who view it, it's going to be something that works. Yeah? I'll consider it in terms of fundamentals. How does your consciousness experience my consciousness? Yeah? How can you tell me you're sitting there, you're conscious of the world, and then the next thing, you're conscious of the world as seen through my eyes? How does your consciousness manage to do that? In the old days, you say, well, there's a demonic power that gives you access to my mind. But before, as a scientist, before I go there, I have to consider what your consciousness is. It's an emergent property of nature. Yeah? It is a resonance, a fluctuation. Yeah? Resonates in which fields? We just say the conscious field. There is a conscious field out there that consciousness is defined in. But I'm a consciousness too. So my weapon would be to disrupt your consciousness when you come to view mine. Just like putting in a jamming signal. So that, because you have to respect my privacy and the right to hold my intellectual property. If I was to think of something that would generate income, the same people who would react if I think negatively to them, about them, would exploit that. Yeah? And on top of that, they'll ask the system to make sure I can't exploit any of my ideas. Yeah? So that's intellectual property theft. I've been saying this. This is my raison d'etre. Through the whole of my life, it's never changed. The change happened, I don't know if the Mayans were right, but just after 2012, it escalated. The people who see into our minds appear to have gained a platform in society and the system and government. Yeah? Where someone can report you for thinking something in your head and a policeman will turn up. not based on any crime that's happened, where if you take you to court, you haven't done anything, and you can even put cameras on someone, yeah, and they can see that you did not do anything, where it's like there is no evidence of any crime being committed, but these policemen are still turning up, yeah. So you know you can defend yourself in court, because the ability to see into people's minds is not accepted as evidence in court yet. When it is, then we'll reach the second stage of things. Because if you can see into my mind, then we have privacy issues. Yeah, personal privacy will have to be addressed, and intellectual property, data protection will have to be addressed. So once they get it accepted in court that it can be used as evidence, it will need to be regulated to protect people's privacy and data protection. And data, I should say. Yeah, so we wait for that moment where they become so brush and full of themselves that they get it legalized. Then we can take it to the second stage. Yeah, so at the moment, the police will turn up to intimidate you, but they can't take you to court because they know there's no physical evidence to show that you did anything. If you was in a box, how can someone report you for doing something to them? How can someone report what happened in my head and you don't do them for data protection violation and for infringement of someone's privacy, and you turn up for them? You should be turning up for me. You should be protecting me. Say, look, can you stop seeing into people's privacy, yeah, and stealing people's data, because you're supposed to uphold the law. But there are government officials and law enforcement who turn up for these people. Yeah, if you feel victimized, it's because all your friends and family are spiritualists. The electronic harassment is just a disguise, yeah, a red cape, a distraction. It doesn't really work, but the main thing is that their consciousness can realize what your consciousness is doing. Yeah, you can put it to the test. I just showed you. Pick anyone at random, even a stranger out there, that even if it's someone that you see in your neighborhood every day, just start thinking about them negatively. See if the next time you see them, they don't react. They don't react to you different. Yeah? Everyone has the ability to monitor your mind. I don't know if this switched on December 21st, 2012. I don't know if that's when it switched on. But from that moment onwards, it's become more pronounced. Yeah? But before the 2000, yeah, I remember it never used to be like this. People never used to accept that seeing into other people's minds was even possible. They'll call you crazy. In fact, I was labeled crazy for believing it. Yeah. So no. So but now they actually starting to report things that come from someone's head. Yeah. Yet before 2000, if I told you that people can see what's in my head, you say you're crazy. But now someone can report what's in my head, and they're seeing in my head for them to report that. If what they're reporting came from my head, aren't they seeing into my head? Yeah? How am I crazy? If they're reporting what took place in my head, how am I crazy? So you need to test it, and I've yet to do it, but once you think of someone negatively and you can sense that a negative feeling has returned to you, make you believe that that person will be upset and so forth. So now you've got proof that they are. But now you wait to see them, yeah? And if they start to act like they're really upset with you for something, try and get it out of them. Have them on camera. So what did I do that upset you? Remember, you didn't do anything. You was in a closed environment, curtains drawn, door locked. Yeah, as far as they're concerned, Schrodinger's uncertainty. Yeah, there's no way they can tell what was happening behind closed doors. But if they're acting like they really have to get something off their chest, try and get it out off their chest and get them to say it officially, and even sign somewhere to say, you were thinking about me like this. As soon as somebody can sign a statement, sworn statement saying, I, being of sound mind and reasoning, yeah, do declare that I saw you thinking about me in a negative way, and I got upset by it, and they put their signature on it. That's the they. That's the they. that you then need to take to your psychiatrist and say, people are seeing into my head, and say, come on, you're being silly. I've got a sworn statement from someone who says they're doing just that. That's the they.